Very good morning, everyone. I'm Hongrui, CFO of Med Asia Energy and a committee member of ISCA's Young Professional Advisory Committee. I'm your host for this episode of CA Listens, and together with me, I'm honored to have Chin Yee, Finance Director from Qian Hu Corporation. Good morning, Chin Yee. A warm welcome.
Thank you.
Please share a little bit about yourself and also Qian Hu Corporation.
I am Lai Chin Yee, the Finance Director of Qian Hu Corporation. I've been with Qian Hu since the year 2000, so it has been 25 years. Other than being the Finance Director of Qian Hu, I also sit on a few boards as the Independent Director. And previously, I was also a board member with ACRA and also an ex-council member of ISCA. Separately, if we want to talk about Qian Hu, as most people know, is actually an ornamental fish company. But we also does accessories, pets, and we have an auxiliary business we are involved in plastic production. So all in all, Qian Hu has 5 locations in Singapore, Malaysia, Thailand, Indonesia, and China.
Wow.
So over the years, we have been building strength to strength, and we hope to continue to strive for better performance. Yeah.
I see. So, Chin Yee, you have such an illustrious finance career. You know, earlier on you shared that you won the Best CFO award for a company less than 300 million market cap back in 2019. You sit on Accra's board, etc., etc. So you're absolutely amazing. And amongst them all, a huge congratulations on winning this year's Best Annual Report.
Thank you.
Was in the small cap category.
Yes.
So share with us, what does this mean to you and the Qian Hu team?
We are truly honored. This recognition means a lot, not only to me personally, but also for the team in Qian Hu, especially given the strong peers in our category. So I think this is not only just an award, it's also a recognition and a validation of our commitment to being open, honest, and consistent in our way of communicating with our shareholders. And also it reinforces our belief that size should not limit the quality of reporting. So smaller companies like us, if we want to put in effort and do well, we can also perform when it comes to transparency and governance. So I think definitely is a rewarding moment, of course. Each year we take the annual report not only as a compliance document, but it's also a way that we can communicate directly to our stakeholders and to share our journey. So I suppose awards like that are not something that we chase after for the sake of it. But when the effort and the thoughts behind the scene are actually recognized, of course, it energizes the team and it's encouraging, and it's telling us that we're on the right track and motivate us to continue to raise our bar in terms of reporting honestly, openly, and with a purpose.
And it's true, you know, that not only that, as I know from the recently concluded Singapore Corporate Awards 2025, Qian Hu scored a hat trick doing podium finishes for not only the Best Annual Report, but also the Best Risk Management, Best Managed Board. And I also come to know that actually other than this year, Qian Hu also clinched the same award but passed 7 times. And of course, a lot more of other awards on governance from organizations such as SIS, the Business Times, IR magazines. And you know, the other day I was visiting the Qian Hu farm, and I was walking down a gallery. I really saw that so many posters and articles being pasted.
Yes. Yeah.
So I know that, you know, Qian Hu has a very rich history, and coming from such a strong track record, right? Could you share with us a little bit on how Qian Hu, being consistently known for its transparency and unique corporate culture, what has actually shaped companies' approach to corporate reporting over the years?
Yeah, you're right. I think a lot goes back to our roots. Our culture is very much rooted on being open, accountable, and upfront. We are actually a family-founded business, grow up in front of the public eyes. We always felt that we are responsible to be honest and upfront.
Yeah.
Not just because we have to do so, but we think that is the right thing to do. To the shareholders, to our employees, to our business partners. This has shaped our approach to reporting. Over the years, we know that people don't only want to see numbers.
Yeah.
They want to know actually the context behind the numbers. What decision we made to have certain outcomes, what risks are we managing, and what we are headed for, and more importantly, what we have not figured out. Our approach of reporting actually evolved to reflect that. We aim for a tone that is actually straightforward, candid, or even humble. When something doesn't turn up well, we say it. When we saw some opportunity or challenges on the horizon, we also speak out openly. So I think because we are a small company and we are very closely knitted, our team can actually consistently keep a certain tone across the whole report. Helps in turning a good report. Yeah.
Exactly. So, for audiences who are tuning in and watching this episode of the CA Listens, do you know that Qian Hu has a longkang fishing area for families, to catch as many fish from the longkang as you can? Going back to what you shared earlier, Chin Yee, you're so deeply rooted and then you resemble the Singapore's true kampong spirit. I see a lot of families with children, fathers, mothers, having a really good time over the weekends at the longkang trying to fish. I think it's a really good family bonding activities for Singapore families to pay a visit. So then, what are some of the guiding principles or ideas behind this year's annual report? I understand that the team is charting new depths.
Yes.
Were there any particular features, whether be in design, narratives, or disclosures, that you think particularly stood out and clinched the win for you and your team?
Every year, not only this year, our annual report is always anchored on like 3 guiding areas: clarity, genuine, and the alignment to our long-term strategy. So we want to see that every element in the report, be it the CEO message all the way to the financial numbers, we want that to reflect, to follow this guiding principle. So in terms of clarity, we make an effort to simplify the technical languages because we know that not all stakeholders are financial, not all financial.
I understand there are a lot of different users of the financial statement.
Yes,
so it's good that you break the technical jargons to simpler
So
terms.
that's one of our thing that we deliberately want to do. And we try to present our insight in something that is easy to understand without diluting the meaning. So we use infographics or the virtual data presentation, and also some segmentation actually helps with that. And in terms of narratives, we tend to work towards like a storytelling, how the company has evolved over the years or what happened during the year. And we are very upfront with our opportunities and our challenges, and also what we are investing in for the future. So I think maybe what stood out could be, because I'm actually not the judge, but I think what clearly stood out could be the transparency in our discussion on our uncertainties and our risks, and also maybe the ESG aspect. So we don't only talk about the good things, we also share some of the things that keep us awake at night, and also how we are handling it. Lastly, if you talk about the design, I think it's a clean, minimal, and with a purpose. It actually reflects our identity as a company which values quality. So maybe it's this blend of honesty and maybe the design coherence, and also the forward-thinking strategy resonated and helped us to connect better with the readers or the panel. So I think that part could make us stand out a bit compared to the rest. But,
Right.
yeah.
And I think talking about identity, especially the corporate identity of Qian Hu, one thing that's really stood out for me is when I was reviewing, I read the stories about Qian Hu's rich history of how it initially started as a pig's pen and then breed guppies for local exporters. However, there was a severe thunderstorm that wiped out essentially all of the guppies, and then later on the company transformed and renamed Qian Hu, which went on to farm high fin loaches, despite knowing very little about the fish. Yeah, and then suddenly in one swoop, the entire store of 4,000 loaches died, and then basically Qian Hu lost everything again.
That's correct.
Except of course the determination of the founding team. So to this day, the high fin loaches remain as Qian Hu's mascot.
Logo.
Yeah, and also the logo, which then serves as a daily reminder to all of the employees of Qian Hu. From my perspective, it's really something that stood out and also served as a good brand identity, serving as a constant reminder of where we started off. And that is what keep us remain standing, and as you mentioned, what keeps you excited about the brand new day every day. So then coming back to you, Chin Yee. From your perspective as a CFO, right, what is the role of finance leaders in shaping the transparent and meaningful corporate reporting?
Okay, we all know that the CFO role has evolved. So today, CFO is playing a significantly bigger part than what we used to. We don't only look at, or we don't only present accurate numbers or ensure compliance. So today we are also responsible for telling a financial stories that can relate to the stakeholders and they trust us. So I think finance leader sits on the intersection of data, strategy, and governance. We are in a unique position to join the dots and for financial performance, for risk, for sustainability, for long-term strategies. In that sense, we are not only a gatekeeper for financial integrity, but we can be a very powerful communicator. So yes, I believe that it's our job to make financial reporting meaningful. That means we have to be proactive in framing the results, anticipate what the stakeholders' concerns are, and also to ensure that every number that we share is a part of a bigger and coherent story. It also means that then we have to be able to ask difficult questions, we have to challenge assumptions, and we even have to push for clarity even though people are uncomfortable about it. So in today's environment where trust is more valuable than ever, I think the CFO, to ensure the integrity and a purposeful reporting, this role is actually absolutely critical. That's what my view.
So Chin Yee rightly pointed out that as CFOs nowadays, I think it's not just about crunching the numbers, but we as finance leaders, we really need to value add to the business, doing business partnerings. And you also brought in a very nice concept words called compliance, which is exactly the theme of our vodcast this morning. It's called Beyond Compliance. And I also remember, when I was a student back in the NTU days, I was taught that financial and corporate reporting must be relevant. It must also be faithfully represented to users of the financial report. So likewise, please share with us how has Qian Hu used reporting as a tool to build trust with the stakeholders?
We see the annual report as a form of conversation, and it's not just only a compliance document. So to us, every year the reporting is like relationship building exercise. Yes, it is a requirement, it's a statutory requirement to have the annual report. But to us, it's actually an opportunity we have to deepen trust. So it's just like saying here we say what we want to do,
Right.
and here is what we have done, and now where are we going. So one way we did to go beyond compliance, which is like what you mentioned, the team today on our annual report,
Yep.
is to try to focus on the tone and transparency. The tone, like I mentioned before, we try to simplify things. We try to make things easy for people to understand. We put in a lot of graphics, infographics, and also we avoid listing out all the facts or give long paragraphs and all that. The human touch builds trust over time because you make it easier for people to understand.
Right.
It's just like a conversation. And I think another thing is also we try to stay consistent in the message that we deliver year after year. For example, if we have a long-term plan, be it whether improving the ESG performance or diversifying our products offer, we consistently keep the stakeholders update on our progress. All these I build some credibility, which is important when the market is very volatile, because they trust that you consistently come back with updates. Even there's a setback, even there's delays, we actually addressed it openly. And I suppose shareholders these days can smell something if it's too overly polished. So
Right.
we tend to choose accuracy over perfection, and in the long run, it can build more trust.
I was also reading through your annual report, and as you shared earlier, one thing that really was highlighted to me was that innovation of the annual report, like the way you put across using different graphics, different themes, different pictures to illustrate and bring out the essence of the annual reporting, and don't make it dull. You know, a lot of us, the only thing that we are interested in is just to look at profit. How much of the profit do you make in a year without going through the rest of the content we tried.
And look at the color pages, see whether they're nice or not.
It's like, if there's no photo, then probably I want to skip.
Yeah, that's why we try to skip the part on only just putting a lot of facts inside, and we put more pictures, and if we wish, so people can visualize what you're trying to say.
Yeah, so I think that is really a very powerful and something that is very, very innovative. So, you know, also as an added or extra nuggets to all of our audience today who is tuning to this episode of the podcast, do you actually know that, again, back in my NTU school days, Qian Hu was also used as a textbook case studies on innovative governance? And your previous chairman and CEO, Mr. Kenny Yap, shared 5 important lessons on what constitutes innovative governance. Firstly, he shared that it has to expand the definition of a family business. You have to foster a culture of innovation, build the innovation outside in, have a long-term strategy, and then make innovation a top priority. And he also jokingly shared that nobody can fire him because he owns the business essentially. But that also gives him an added edge to put long-term strategies and to have the long runway to think long-term development and growth for the company. Over the years, the process of developing the report has surfaced a lot of valuable internal reflections, I believe, throughout today's podcast that you share with us. And I believe the annual reports evolve and changes along the way. So then, please share with us a little bit about how the company has actually approached such performance or the risk.
Yeah, very much so, yes. The annual report, one of the very valuable aspects when you want to ask me is when during the preparation of an annual report, it actually forces us to pause and reflect. Not only just looking back, but it's also a lens to help us examine what we have done well and where are the areas that we can improve. So every year, the report cycle is like a health check.
Right.
So this year, for example, during our discussion in the reporting process, it lead us to think deeper into some of our non-financial risks. So it particularly in the areas whereby these days we talk about AI, technology, sustainability, and some operational resilience issue. So we also had conversation on how we can measure performance beyond the revenue and profits. And whether we are tracking the right KPI for innovation, for employees' engagement, and even some of the ESG social impact data. So this has influenced some of our internal KPIs and how we are monitoring our risks. And also, definitely, these strategy changes has pushed us to think more holistically in terms of value creation. So in this whole process, it's like a soul searching. I mean, soul searching could be a very big word, but it's something that you go through to see that what we can do better. In that sense, the annual report is like a form of a mirror. It's not only just to the, you show it to the outside world. It's also a tool for reflection, and it can prompt some very meaningful changes. I mean, at least our experience every year. So every year when we do a bit more, then internally we try to adjust our strategy to actually make things better. And we have to change certain perspective, the management, the staff, and everybody else.
And for yourself, you are a very decorated CFO. If you were to give a word of advice, and also with your many years of experience, and as I understand, you spent more than 20 years with Qian Hu.
25 years.
25 years with Qian Hu. In your view, right? So how can smaller companies like Qian Hu can continue to lead in corporate reporting without the resources of larger firms?
Okay, this is a great questions. To me, I think it all comes down to intent. What you want to do. If you really want to report clearly and responsibly, I don't think you really need very deep pockets to achieve that. What you need is discipline and some creativity. As you mentioned, smaller companies like us, we usually don't have a huge budget or an in-house investor relation team to handle all these. But what we have is the agility, and we can actually have also a very strong sense of identity on who we are, because we are small, we are very cohesive. The mindset is actually more important than the budget. Because we are small, we can move very quickly, we can collaborate across teams, and we can definitely maintain a very consistent voice. So things like that is a huge advantage when it comes to corporate reporting. You don't really have to have a very glossy report to create an impact. What you need is actually a very clear message, a very genuine voice, and some attention to details, and the commitment to want to be transparent. So that is very important. At Qian Hu, what we have found out and learned is that with the limited resources, we are actually pushed to focus on what matters most.
Right.
And that will bring us to be more creative in design, more thoughtful in the kind of language and the words, and also deliberate with our content. So somehow or other, it's just turned out to be a stronger and a more focused report.
And I think most importantly for smaller firms, like you mentioned, is the agility.
Yes.
You are quick to adapt.
Yes.
You can move very fast without the long, corporate chain. I think what really stood out was that the innovativeness, the innovations that you put into every year's annual report.
Yeah.
And can clearly see, you guys are really charting the new depths from your annual report. And potentially that is also something that stood out from the annual report compared to the
Charting
rest.
the new debts has this idea that because it was beginning of this year, it was actually a change of the leadership. So it's actually another chapter, and we are trying to go deeper and create more opportunities and perform better. Yeah.
Right. So finally, and the last question. What do you hope stakeholders to take away when they read Qian Hu's annual report?
Okay, like what I said before, I hope that people don't see the annual report as only a compliance document. I hope the annual report could be a window that can make them see who we are, how we think, and what we stand for. And more than anything, I hope that they can take away a very strong sense of clarity and trust. I hope that they can see a company that is self-aware, ones who know our strength, acknowledges our challenges, and is committed to long-term value creation. I also actually hope that they can see the human side of Qian Hu. Behind the numbers, there are real people, the employees, the leaders, the partners who care deeply about what we do. We are not only in the business of ornamental fish or pets, we are also in the business of building a sustainable and value-driven organization. So when people read our report, I hope that they can be connected, informed, engaged, and reassured. We want to let them know that we are not just managing the next quarter or the next year, but we are also building a future. I also want to have a chance here to thank the team, the stakeholders, and all those who believe in the power of good reporting. It is a lot of hard work, but it's not difficult. It's just hard work, but it really matters. And I think we are committed to doing better every year. Thank you.
Thank you. So there you have it. Chin Yee, Finance Director from Qian Hu Corporation, and a huge congratulations on clinching this year's Best Annual Report for the small cap category.